Rejection is not the end of the story. It's often the test before the chapter really begins. My friends, let me hit you with something straight up. Why do they come back after rejecting you? One day they're saying you're not their type. They're brushing you off, making you feel invisible. And then suddenly, weeks or months later, here they are, dropping into your messages, liking your photo, sending a casual, "Hey stranger," as if they didn't just turn their back on you before. It doesn't make sense, right? But today, we're going to break the lies apart and expose the real psychology behind it. And before we dive deeper, do me a favor, press that like button, hit subscribe, because what we're about to talk about will open your eyes in ways most people never admit. Hey folks, imagine this. You're at a marketplace, holding a diamond in your hand. At first, people walk by it like it's just another stone, unimpressed. But the moment you walk away and slip that diamond back into your pocket, suddenly the crowd starts whispering, "Wait, maybe that stone was worth something after all." That's how rejection works. People overlook you when you're right there, but the minute your presence is gone, your value starts to haunt them. This is the truth. Rejection doesn't always mean they weren't attracted to you. Sometimes it's about timing, sometimes it's about ego, and sometimes it's about control. But here's where most men fall into the trap. They believe when someone comes back, it's because that person suddenly saw their worth. And that's the lie I want to break right here, right now. Coming back doesn't always mean regret. It often means curiosity, loneliness, or the hunger to see if they still have power over you. Think about it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When someone rejects you, the only thing you control is your response. Will you chase them to prove your worth, or will you hold your ground and let them wonder why you didn't fall apart? That's the battlefield of rejection. It's not about them. It's about your own discipline. Now let's add a little fun here. Picture this. A cat ignores a toy sitting on the floor all day. But the moment you pick it up and start walking away with it, suddenly the cat acts like it's the most fascinating thing in the world. Humans aren't that different. What they once dismissed suddenly becomes magnetic the moment it's no longer theirs to have. But folks, here's the part that's hard to hear. Most people don't come back because they've had some spiritual awakening about your value. They come back because you stopped feeding their ego. You stopped chasing. You stopped giving them the free attention that once made them feel powerful. And that absence, that silence, that's what makes them curious again. The problem is, most men mistake that curiosity for commitment. They see the text, the like, the sudden flirty joke, and they think, "Finally, she realized." But no, my friends, many times it's nothing more than a test to see if they still matter to you. So what do? You don't rush. You don't hand back your attention like a discount on clearance. You hold your ground. You show them through your actions that you're not a toy they can pick up and drop whenever they please. That's where true strength lies. The man who doesn't bend to every return is the man who earns real respect. Let me leave you with this. Rejection isn't your enemy. It's a mirror. It shows you where your self-respect stands. And when they come back, it's not your job to celebrate. It's your job to decide if they even deserve another chance. Remember this affirmation. I am not their backup plan. Write it in the comments right now to remind yourself and to show the world where you stand. And if this hit you, press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. Because what's coming next will change the way you look at rejection forever. Number 1, the ego test. Why they check if they still have power. People don't reject you to forget you. They reject you to see if they still own you. Let that one hit, because this is the raw truth nobody tells you. When they push you away, it doesn't always mean they've closed the door forever. Many times, it's the beginning of a quiet test, a test of your reaction, a test of whether your confidence is built on their validation or on your own foundation. My friends, rejection is rarely silent. It echoes, and that echo carries straight into your behavior. Think about this for a moment. You've probably been there before. They reject you, maybe kindly, maybe coldly, and instantly your mind spins into questions. Why? What did I do wrong? Was I not enough? Should I try harder, prove myself, show them what they're missing? Those thoughts don't just appear out of nowhere. They are planted in you by the very nature of rejection. And here's the secret. They expect those questions to consume you, because your reaction feeds their ego. The harder you try, the more they feel in control. Imagine a puppeteer pulling strings. Every time you chase, every time you reach out after rejection, you're giving them the satisfaction of knowing they still pull your strings. It's not about love, it's not about connection, it's about power. When they reject you, it's as if they throw the rope down a cliff, expecting you to climb back up just to prove you're still hanging on. And most men do exactly that. They call, they beg, they linger in the shadows, hoping to change the decision. But let me tell you something, folks. That climb doesn't earn you love. It earns you pity. It earns you the role of the man who couldn't walk away. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That includes rejection. You don't have power over their decision to push you away. But you do have power over how you respond, and your response is what shapes everything that happens after. If you crumble, if you chase, if you make their rejection bigger than your own self-worth, you lose. But if you stand, if you accept it and keep moving, that's when the game changes. That's when curiosity takes root in their mind. Picture this: you're a lighthouse on a stormy night. Ships come and go, some pass you by, some avoid your shore, some dismiss your light as unnecessary. But the moment you stay steady, grounded, unmoved by the waves, something shifts. That ship that once ignored your signal begins to wonder, why hasn't he drifted? Why hasn't he sunk? Why is his light still shining? That's the ego test. They expect you to drown in their absence. But if you don't, if you shine brighter without them, you break their expectations, and that bothers them more than you can imagine. Now let's get brutally honest. Why is this so difficult? Because the human mind equates rejection with failure. We're wired to believe if someone rejects us, it means we're lacking. That fear of not being enough, of being unworthy, is what pushes people to chase validation after rejection. But here's the lie. Rejection isn't always about you. It's often about timing, distractions, personal ego battles, or their own confusion. Yet when you assume it's your fault and chase them, you fall into their trap. You prove that their decision defines you more than your own identity. Let me paint you another picture. Imagine a poker player folding their hand. They push their cards away, signaling they're done. But then, after a while, they lean forward and peek at you again. Why? Not because they suddenly have a winning hand, but because they want to see if you're still invested in the table. That's what happens when they come back after rejecting you. It's not always about desire. Many times, it's about checking if you're still emotionally invested, if your attention is still theirs to command. But folks, here's where it gets interesting. When you don't chase, when you don't fold under the weight of rejection, something powerful happens. You stop feeding their ego. You stop confirming their control. And that unsettles them, because deep down, everyone craves significance. If you once gave them yours and then withdrew it, they feel the absence like a vacuum. And ego cannot stand a vacuum. That's when they return. Not out of love, but out of the need to confirm they still matter. Here's the challenge for you. Don't confuse their test for truth. Don't assume their return means a change of heart. Observe. Ask yourself, are they back to invest in me? Or are they back to see if I'll invest in them again? That's the difference between repeating the cycle and rising above it. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Don't waste your life repeating cycles of being tested, proving yourself to people who never earned that right. You're not here to be someone's experiment. You're here to be someone's undeniable choice. So rise above the ego test. Break free from the idea that their rejection defined your value. Show yourself, show them, show the world that you are more than someone's temporary curiosity. Be the lighthouse, not the sinking ship. Be the diamond that shines regardless of who recognizes it in the moment. And remember this, your worth isn't determined by who rejects you, but by how you carry yourself after rejection. Write this affirmation in the comments right now. I will not feed their ego. Show it to yourself, show it to the world, and let it echo back into your life. Because the moment you stop feeding their ego, you take back your power. And stay with me, because what's coming next will shake you even deeper. We're about to talk about the curiosity effect and why your silence makes them miss exactly what they once dismissed. Number 2. Curiosity and the what-if effect. Rejection plants a seed, but silence waters it into doubt. My friends, let that line sink in, because this is where things get twisted in ways most people never see. When they reject you, you assume it's the end. You think they've made their choice, walked away, closed the door. But here's the raw truth. Rejection isn't always final. It's often the beginning of curiosity. And curiosity, when mixed with silence, can become one of the most powerful forces pulling them back toward you. Imagine this. You hand someone a gift. They shrug it off, toss it aside, say, "No thanks, I don't need it." At first they feel confident about their choice, but as the days go by, they start thinking, what was in that gift? Did I miss something valuable? Did I dismiss too quickly? That's how rejection works in the human mind. At the moment they reject you, they may feel certain, but time has a way of whispering what-ifs into their ear. What if I was wrong? What if I judged too quickly? What if I just pushed away someone who could have been important? And here's where it gets even deeper. People are addicted to certainty. They like knowing exactly where they stand, who wants them, and what their options are. Rejection gives them certainty. They assume you'll either keep chasing or you'll fade away broken. But when you don't chase, when you move on without bitterness, you create something they didn't expect. Uncertainty. And uncertainty breeds curiosity. Think of it like a book they tossed aside after reading the first chapter. At first, they thought it wasn't interesting enough, but as time passes, they see the book on the shelf, gathering dust, and something gnaws at them. What if the story got better after I stopped reading? What if I missed the twist? Your silence becomes that missing chapter. They can't see what's happening in your life. They can't predict your next move. And suddenly they feel drawn back, not necessarily because they love you, but because they hate unanswered questions. Here's the lie that most men believe. When someone comes back after rejecting them, it must mean they regret losing them. It must mean they've realized their mistake. But in truth, many times it's not regret, it's curiosity. They're not saying, "I see your worth now." They're saying, "I wonder if I still matter to you. I wonder if I still have a place in your story." Picture this in your mind. A child sees a toy every day lying on the floor. They ignore it, step over it, maybe even kick it aside. But the moment someone else picks it up, suddenly the child cries, That's mine. I want it back. It wasn't desire that woke up. It was curiosity and fear of loss. Humans, adults included, carry that same psychology. When you stop orbiting their world, you force them to notice the space you've left behind, and that space makes them wonder. Now let's talk about why this is so difficult for you. Because when they circle back, when they suddenly show interest, it hits you in a vulnerable place. After rejection, you carried wounds. You asked yourself questions late at night. Am I not good enough? Did I fail? Did I misread everything? So when they return, your first instinct is relief. You think, finally they see it. Finally they realized. But that's the trap. Their curiosity feels like validation, but it's not. It's just them scratching an itch that silence created. If you confuse that itch for genuine desire, you walk straight back into the same cycle. Let me hit you with a quote from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Their rejection was what happened to you. Their curiosity-driven return is also just what happens to you. But how you respond, that's where your power lies. If you hand over your attention instantly, you give them control. If you stay grounded, observing their actions, you hold your power. Here's a story to drive this home. A man asks a woman out. They rejects him, politely but firmly. He accepts it, doesn't argue, doesn't chase. He just moves on with dignity. Weeks later, she's scrolling through her feed and notices he hasn't been liking her posts, hasn't been commenting, hasn't been orbiting her life. That bothers her. They wonders, did he forget me? Did he replace me? Was he really that strong? Curiosity kicks in, and she sends a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" The man sees it, and his heart skips. But here's the choice point. If he assumes that text means love, he's lost. If he sees it as curiosity, he stays in control. My friends, here's the truth. Curiosity is not commitment. It's not investment. It's not love. It's a test. They're peeking through the door to see if you'll open it wide. And if you do, if you rush in with eagerness, they lose interest again, because curiosity is satisfied and there's no mystery left. But if you don't rush, if you hold back, if you let them prove through consistent actions that they mean something real, that's when you flip the script. That's when their curiosity evolves into respect. Think about how many times you've chased curiosity in your own life. You've peeked into old texts, looked at someone's social media, maybe even reached out, not because you wanted them, but because you wondered if you still had a place in their world. That's all it is. A question in their mind, not a commitment in their heart. So here's the challenge I lay before you. Don't let curiosity drag you back into confusion. When they come back, don't celebrate instantly. Don't assume it's victory. Observe. Ask yourself, are they just curious or are they willing to invest? Are they making effort or are they just scratching an itch? At the end of the day, you want more than curiosity. You want consistency. You want respect. You want someone who chooses you, not someone who circles back because your silence unsettled them. Remember this, curiosity may bring them back to your door, but only respect will make them stay. Your job is to filter the difference. Write this affirmation in the comments right now. I am not their what if. Show it to yourself, show it to the world, and remind yourself that you are not here to be someone's second guess. You are here to be someone's clear choice. And stay with me, because what comes next will shake you even harder. We're about to dive into the scarcity principle and why your distance makes them see your value more than your presence ever did. Number 3, the scarcity principle, why your absence creates value. Abundance makes the heart careless, but scarcity makes the heart remember. Let that sit with you, my friends, because it explains one of the deepest truths about why they come back after rejecting you. Human beings are wired to take for granted what's always available. When your presence is constant, when your attention flows endlessly, it doesn't feel rare, it doesn't feel valuable, it feels ordinary. And people do not treasure what feels ordinary. They may enjoy it, they may even use it, but they don't respect it. The respect comes when something they once had access to suddenly disappears. That's when the scarcity principle kicks in, and that's when the mind starts to shift. Imagine water in a village. If there's a river flowing endlessly through the center of town, people scoop it, waste it, splash it, and never think twice. But the moment that river dries up, suddenly every drop is precious. The same glass of water that was once ignored now feels like gold. That's what your absence does to someone who rejected you. When you stop showing up, when your attention isn't free anymore, they feel the drought. They realize the flow of energy they once dismissed has stopped, and suddenly it feels heavier, more valuable, more rare. Now here's the part most people never see. When you were present, they thought they could predict you. They knew you would text, call, like their posts, show up in their world no matter how they treated you. That predictability killed the mystery. But when you walked away, when you stopped giving them what they assumed would always be there, a question forms in their mind. Did I underestimate them? Did I lose something valuable? Did I dismiss what I should have kept? That's the scarcity effect whispering into their thoughts. Seneca once said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Your absence triggers their imagination in ways your presence never could. When you're gone, they imagine you with someone else. They imagine your life moving forward without them. They imagine you no longer caring, no longer available, no longer thinking of them. That imagination frightens them because it makes them confront a reality they never considered, that you were more valuable than they allowed themselves to admit. Think about this. When a man is always chasing, always reaching out, always reminding them that he's still around, there's no fear of loss. They know, no matter what, he'll still be there tomorrow. But when he pulls back, when his silence becomes louder than his words, the fear creeps in. They start to feel the loss, even if they were the ones who rejected him. And that feeling makes them circle back, not necessarily because they suddenly fell in love, but because scarcity sharpened their perception of his value. Now let's be brutally honest. Why is this so difficult? Because scarcity only works when it's real. You can't fake it. If you withdraw just to trick them, but deep down you're still waiting by your phone, they'll feel it. Humans are intuitive. We sense desperation even when it's hidden under silence. True scarcity comes when you actually move on, when you genuinely no longer orbit them, when your focus is on building your life instead of proving your worth. That kind of absence hits differently. It's not an act, it's reality. Picture a marketplace again. Imagine a vendor selling fruit. If there's a pile of hundreds, people walk by casually, knowing they can grab one any time. But if there are only 3 left in the basket, suddenly everyone wants one. Not because the fruit changed, but because the perception of value did. When you were abundant with your attention, it felt cheap. When you became scarce, your value increased. This is why absence is so powerful. It creates contrast. Contrast between the version of you they once took for granted and the version of you who now exists beyond their reach. That contrast makes them rethink. It makes them wonder if they were blind before. It makes them question if they were too quick to let you go. But here's the warning, my friends. Scarcity doesn't guarantee love. It only guarantees reflection. They may come back because they feel your absence, but that doesn't mean they're ready to commit or respect you the way they should. This is where your strength is tested. Will you mistake their scarcity-driven return for true attraction? Or will you hold your ground and make them prove through consistency that their respect is genuine this time? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Their rejection wasn't the pain. It was your estimate of what it meant. Their return isn't the victory. It's your estimate of how much it means. You control the meaning. If you decide their comeback is proof of your worth, you'll give away your power. If you see it as a test of your standards, you'll rise above the cycle. Let me give you a story. A man was deeply interested in someone. He pursued, he invested, but she brushed him off, said she wasn't ready, so he let go. He stopped chasing, focused on his career, his body, his peace. Months later, she reached out. Not with an apology, not with clarity, but with a casual, "Hey, I miss talking to you." That was scarcity at work. They didn't realize how much his presence meant until it was gone. The difference came down to his response. Instead of rushing back, he observed. He made her prove with actions, not words, that she was truly invested. And that is how scarcity becomes power instead of weakness. Here's the takeaway. Your absence is not a punishment, it's a statement. A statement that you will not devalue yourself by begging for attention. A statement that your life is too full, too meaningful to orbit someone who doesn't see your worth. And that statement is what makes people come back, not because you convinced them, but because your silence forced them to confront what they lost. So what do you do when they come back? You remember this truth. Scarcity created the return, but respect must decide the future. Don't hand yourself over just because they felt your absence. Make them earn the presence they once dismissed. Write this affirmation in the comments right now. My absence creates value. Show it to yourself. Show it to the world. Show it to anyone watching your journey. Because when you understand the scarcity principle, you stop begging to be seen. You start demanding to be respected. And stay with me, because next we're going even deeper into the psychology of control and why, many times, their return isn't about love at all. It's about seeing if they still own your attention. Number 4. Control and attention. The real currency they chase. Attention is the new oxygen. Without it, egos suffocate. My friends, let that line hit you in the chest, because it explains more about human behavior than most people will ever admit. You see, when they come back after rejecting you, it's not always because they suddenly woke up one morning struck by the lightning of love. Many times, it's because they miss the attention you once gave them. Not you, the person, the soul, the man of value, but the energy you provided, the control they felt, the power of knowing that no matter what, you were there, orbiting them. Think about it. In relationships, or even in almost relationships, attention is currency. It fuels the ego. It feeds the sense of importance. It builds the illusion that they are still in control of your emotions. When you were calling, texting, liking their posts, or showing interest, it was like pouring coins into their piggy bank every single day. Even when they rejected you, they knew you still cared, because your energy didn't stop flowing. That made them feel secure. That gave them power. But the moment you stopped, the moment you pulled your attention back, that's when things shifted. Suddenly, the well dried up. Suddenly, they no longer had the control they once relied on. That absence creates panic, not necessarily love, but fear of losing their grip. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people would rather keep control over your focus than give you their genuine commitment. Imagine a spotlight in a dark theater. When it's shining on one actor, the crowd sees only them. They feel important, they feel central, they feel alive under that light. But the second the spotlight moves to another part of the stage, they feel invisible. They crave the warmth of that light again, even if they don't deserve it. That's what your attention does. It's the spotlight. When you move it away, they want it back. Not because they want to perform better, but because they can't stand being left in the dark. Now, let's get real about the game they play. They don't always come back with full effort. Sometimes it's just a small text, a random like, or a casual comment like, "Hey, how have you been?" They don't invest much, but they don't need to. All they're doing is tugging at the strings to see if the puppet still moves. If you respond too eagerly, if you flood them with validation again, you've handed them the control they were fishing for. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your attention is part of that power. Where you place it, who you give it to, what you allow it to feed, that determines whether you live in strength or weakness. If you give your focus cheaply, you live as a servant to someone else's ego. But when you guard it, when you only invest it in those who respect it, you step into your strength as a man who cannot be manipulated. Let's put this into a metaphor. Imagine you're holding a remote control. Every time you pour your energy into someone who dismissed you, you're handing them the remote to your life. They can press pause, rewind, play, fast forward, control your emotions at will. But when you take that remote back and stop reacting, they panic. They hit the buttons and nothing happens. That's when they come back, not to give, but to see if they can get that remote back into their hands. But here's the lie men believe. They think when someone resurfaces, it must mean they want love, that the small breadcrumb, the like, the "hey stranger," is a doorway to something real. But no, my friends, it's often just a control check. They don't want to lose their place in your mind. They don't want to accept that you might have moved on. And so they return, not to give you their heart, but to see if you'll give them your focus. Here's where the difficulty lies, because attention feels small, but it's massive. It's not just about replying to a text or liking a photo back. It's about what that action represents. Every drop of attention you give tells them, yes, you still matter. Yes, you still have influence over me. And if you're not careful, you'll give away your control without even realizing it. Epictetus taught, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Their rejection, their games, their returns, those lie beyond your control. But where your attention goes, that is yours to command. And if you don't command it, someone else will." Let me share a story with you. A man was once deeply interested in someone who didn't return his feelings. He kept giving energy anyway, texting, checking in, hoping she would change her mind. Eventually, he realized he was draining himself, so he stopped. He pulled back, focused on himself, his growth, his peace. Months later, she returned, not with clarity, not with commitment, but with a casual message. "Miss our conversations." He almost fell into the trap again, thinking it meant something real. But he paused, and he saw it for what it was. Not love, but a check for attention. By holding his ground and refusing to give his focus cheaply, he kept his control. And ironically, that's when she started seeing him differently, not as a backup, but as someone who couldn't be played with. That's the power you hold when you guard your attention. It shifts the dynamic completely. Instead of being the man chasing, begging, and proving, you become the man who chooses where his energy flows. And that choice, my friends, is what makes you valuable. Because the world is full of men who hand over their attention for free. But rare is the man who holds it back until it is respected. And rarity breeds value. So what should you do when they come back? You test them the way they once tested you. Don't hand them your energy on a silver platter. Observe. See if they are investing consistently. See if their actions match their words. See if they're truly giving more than they're taking. Because if they're not, then all thereafter is the same thing they lost before, control over your focus. And if you give it, you've learned nothing. My friends, let this be the affirmation you live by. My attention is my power. Write it in the comments right now. Show it to yourself. Show it to the world. Let it echo through your life. Because once you understand that your focus is currency, you'll never give it away cheaply again. Stay with me, because what comes next cuts even deeper. We're about to uncover why many times when they return, it's not about wanting you, but about wanting the benefits you once provided without ever giving you the commitment you deserve. That's the trap of emotional labor, and if you don't see it clearly, it will drain you dry. Number 5. When they want the benefits without the commitment. Not everyone who misses you wants you back. Sometimes they just miss what you gave them. My friends, that truth stings, doesn't it? But it's one that too many overlook. When they come back after rejecting you, it's not always because they've had a change of heart. It's not always because they've suddenly realized you're the one they want to commit to. Many times, it's because they want the benefits you once gave them, your attention, your support, your presence, without ever giving you the commitment you deserve in return. Let's get real here. Think back to the times you've been there for someone who wasn't truly invested in you. You listened when they needed to vent. You encouraged them when they felt low. You gave them attention, time, and even energy that you could have been using to build yourself. But when you asked for clarity, when you wanted something real, they drew the line. "I'm not ready," they said, or "I just don't see you that way." In that moment, they rejected you. But here's the twist. They didn't reject the comfort, the safety, the ego boost you provided. They only rejected the commitment. Imagine this with me. A person goes to a restaurant. They order food, they enjoy it, they fill their stomach, and then when it's time to pay the bill, they walk out the door. That's exactly what it's like when someone takes your energy without giving you commitment. They enjoy the benefits, but they refuse the cost. And when they circle back after rejecting you, many times it's because they miss that free meal. They miss the way you made them feel, even if they never intended to give you more. This is where the trap lies, folks. Because when they come back, they don't always say it outright. They don't say, "I miss you because you were my emotional safety net." No, they disguise it with casual texts, flirty comments, or subtle invitations. They say, "I miss our talks," or "we should catch up sometime." On the surface, it looks like interest, but look deeper. It's often just a way to re-establish the flow of benefits without the responsibility of commitment. And let's be honest, why do people do this? Because attention is easy to crave. Emotional support is addictive. Knowing there's someone out there who cares deeply, even when they don't, gives them a sense of security. You became their backup plan, their soft place to land when the world got heavy, not because they valued you as their first choice, but because they knew you'd always be there to pick up the pieces. But here's the part most men don't want to face. When you allow this dynamic, you lower your own value. You become the free trial version of yourself, accessible, dependable, and costless. And just like people treat free trials, they use you until they're done, and then they walk away again. That's why so many men get caught in cycles with someone who rejected them once. They confuse being needed for comfort with being wanted for commitment. Think about the psychology of this. A person rejects you because they don't want responsibility. But later they remember how good it felt to have your energy, your listening ear, your compliments, your presence. So they come back not with seriousness, but with vague interest. And because you still carry the sting of rejection, you're desperate to interpret their return as a victory. You tell yourself, they realized my worth. But no, they realized they missed the benefits. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine you're a fire in the cold night. They step close, they warm their hands, they enjoy the heat. But when you invite them to build the fire with you, to commit to keeping it alive, they shake their head and walk away. Hours later, when the cold bites again, they return, not to help maintain the fire, not to invest in it, but to steal the warmth for a moment. That's what it's like when someone comes back, just for the benefits. They don't want the responsibility of keeping the fire burning. They just want to use your flame when it suits them. So, how do you recognize this trap? Look at their actions. Do they make effort? Do they invest time? Do they bring consistency? Or do they just show up when it's convenient, when they feel lonely, when they want a boost? If it's the latter, then you already have your answer. They're not here for you. They're here for what you provide. And why is it so hard to resist? Because being needed feels good. It feeds your own ego to know you're the one they turn to. It feels like validation. But don't mistake validation for value. Being needed is not the same as being respected. Being used for comfort is not the same as being chosen for love. And until you make that distinction, you'll keep falling for the same cycle. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Sometimes walking away from someone who uses you makes you look cold, makes you look heartless in their eyes. But that's not weakness, that's discipline, that's wisdom, because only a foolish man keeps burning his energy on someone who never intended to give it back. Here's another story. A man once supported a woman through all her struggles. They wasn't interested in him romantically, but she loved his presence. They loved his attention. He was her go-to guy, but not her chosen man. When he finally realized she never wanted more, he pulled back. He stopped being her therapist, her entertainer, her emotional sponge. Months later, she came back with texts like, "I miss having you around." But when he asked if she was ready to commit, she went silent. That silence told him everything. They didn't miss him. She missed the benefits. And that realization freed him from the cycle. My friends, I need you to hear this. Your energy is not free. Your time, your support, your care, those are priceless. If someone rejected you once, then comes back without clarity, without effort, without commitment, you owe it to yourself to set boundaries. Don't be the free trial. Don't be the backup plan. Don't be the fire they visit only when they're cold. Write this affirmation in the comments right now. I will not be their safety net. Say it out loud. Show it to yourself. Show it to the world around you, because the day you refuse to give benefits without commitment is the day you reclaim your power. And stay with me, because next we're going even deeper into the uncomfortable reality that not every comeback means attraction. Sometimes it's just convenience, and if you don't see it for what it is, you'll keep mistaking temporary appearances for true desire. That lesson will save you from years of wasted energy. Number 6. Why their return doesn't always mean attraction. Not every knock on your door means someone wants to come in. Sometimes they just want to see if it's still unlocked. My friends, let me hit you with that truth right at the start, because this is where so many men get trapped. They think the moment someone comes back after rejecting them, it must mean attraction. They think they've changed their mind. They finally see my worth. This is my chance. But here's the cold reality. Their return doesn't always mean desire. In fact, many times it means nothing more than convenience, boredom, or loneliness. And if you confuse those things for true attraction, you set yourself up for heartbreak all over again. Let's break this lie apart. When someone returns, it's easy to project your own hopes onto them. You wanted them once, so your mind assumes if they're back, it must be because they want you too. That's wishful thinking, not reality. People come back for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it's curiosity, like we talked about. Sometimes it's control. Sometimes it's the benefits you gave them. And sometimes it's simply because their life got messy. They fought with someone else. They feel empty. They crave attention. Notice, none of those reasons have anything to do with genuine attraction toward you. They have everything to do with filling their own emotional gap. Imagine a traveler walking down a long road. They pass by a house offering food and shelter, but they reject it, saying, "No, I don't need this right now." They keep walking. Hours later, the road gets rough, the night grows cold, and suddenly they knock on the door again. Not because they changed their heart, but because they need comfort until the storm passes. That's what it looks like when someone reappears in your life after rejection. They don't always come back to stay. They just want temporary shelter. And if you let them in without questioning their intentions, you'll wake up one morning to find them gone again, off chasing something else, leaving you with the same emptiness you thought you had escaped. Here's what men fail to ask themselves: are they back for me, or are they back for themselves? That's the filter you need. A person who's truly attracted will show consistency. They'll invest time, they'll make effort, they'll build something with you. But someone who's just filling a void will show vagueness. Their words will be light, their effort minimal, their presence inconsistent. They'll text late at night when they're lonely. They'll check in when they're bored. But they won't move mountains to prove you matter. That's not attraction, that's convenience. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If you tell yourself their return equals love, your thoughts will deceive you. You'll start building castles in the air, believing in something that was never there to begin with. But if you train your mind to observe, to test, to separate words from actions, you won't be fooled. You'll see their return not as proof of value, but as a chance to watch carefully and decide if they truly belong. Let me tell you a story. A man was rejected by someone he deeply cared for. They told him she wasn't ready, that she didn't feel the same. It crushed him, but eventually he accepted it and moved on. Months later, she reached out. They started liking his photos again, sending casual texts, even suggesting they hang out. The man thought this was it, that she finally realized his worth. But after a few meetups, it became clear. They wasn't serious. They still kept him at a distance. They wanted his energy, his attention, his comfort, but she never offered commitment. They didn't come back because she was attracted. They came back because she was lonely. The man learned the hard way. Her return didn't mean desire. It meant convenience. And this is what I want you to see, folks. A person can come back into your life for all the wrong reasons. And if you're blinded by your own hope, you'll fall right back into their hands. You'll give them your energy, your focus, your heart, only to be discarded again when they no longer need what you provide. That cycle drains men, and it only ends when you start filtering their intentions with discipline instead of desperation. Epictetus taught, "If you want to be invincible, do not enter the battle where victory does not depend on you." Their return is not victory. It's not proof of attraction. It's just an event. Victory is when you don't let their return control your emotions. Invincibility is when you wait, when you test, when you demand consistency before you give them access to your heart again. Let's use another metaphor. Think of a store that once gave away free samples. People lined up, took what they wanted, and walked away. But one day, the store stopped giving out freebies. Suddenly, people returned asking, "Where are the samples?" Not because they wanted to buy, but because they wanted what was easy and free. That's what it's like when someone comes back without real investment. They don't want to buy in. They just want another taste, another boost, another piece of you without the cost of commitment. So, how do you handle this? You become the filter. You don't assume attraction. You demand proof of it. You don't settle for breadcrumbs. You require full meals. You don't let someone knock on your door at midnight and walk in freely. You ask why they're here, what they're willing to give, what they're bringing to the table. If the answer is nothing but vague words and casual interest, then you already know. They're not here out of desire. They're here out of convenience. And here's the hard part. Sometimes walking away will make you feel like the bad guy. They'll accuse you of being cold, of being heartless, of changing. But remember this: boundaries are not cruelty. Standards are not arrogance. Protecting your heart is not weakness. It's wisdom. You don't owe anyone access to your life just because they circled back. They owe you clarity, consistency, and respect. Without those, their return means nothing. My friends, let me say this again so it sticks. Attraction is proven through action, not through reappearance. Their texts mean nothing without consistency. Their "I miss you" means nothing without effort. Their sudden presence means nothing if it doesn't come with respect. Don't confuse temporary comfort for permanent desire. Don't mistake convenience for love. Here's your affirmation, and I want you to write it in the comments right now. I am not convenience. Say it with your chest. Show it to yourself. Show it to the world. Let it be the reminder that you are not here to be someone's backup plan or late-night option. You are here to be chosen, respected, and valued. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going even deeper. We're going to break the hardest truth of all: why celebrating their comeback as a victory is the very reason so many men stay stuck in cycles of pain. That wake-up call is one most people avoid, but it's the one that will set you free. Number 7. The truth you don't want to hear, but need to. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. My friends, that's not just a nice quote, it's the core of everything we've been talking about. Because here's the reality: too many of you still celebrate when they come back, as if their return is some kind of prize. But the truth, the one most men don't want to hear, is this: if someone rejected you once, their return should never automatically be a victory. It should be a test of your standards, a test of your strength, a test of whether you've grown enough to filter what's real from what's just noise. Let's break the lie first. The lie is that them coming back means you finally won. You think, they finally realized my worth. He finally came to his senses. This is it. I've proven myself. That's not victory, that's illusion. Because if you don't question why they're back, if you don't examine their intentions, you're setting yourself up to repeat the same cycle that hurt you in the first place. Remember this: people don't always come back because they've changed. Sometimes they come back because they know you haven't. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a revolving door. People walk in, they walk out, they circle back in, they walk out again. The door spins endlessly, and if you keep standing there, letting them push through, you become part of their cycle. They don't see you as a man of value. They see you as the doormat of their emotional convenience. And if you let it happen, you lose not just your time, but your self-respect. That's why celebrating their return blindly is weakness. The strong man doesn't ask, "Why are they back?" He asks, "Do they deserve to stay this time?" Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, their rejection. Outside event, their return. Outside event, your choice to let them back in. That's your power. That's your strength. The moment you hand that power over without question, you abandon yourself. And let me tell you, a man who abandons himself for the sake of being wanted will never be respected, not by others, and not by himself. Think about it. Why would someone truly value you if you allow them to walk in and out of your life at will? Why would they respect you if you accept them back with open arms after they already dismissed you once? They won't. Deep down, they'll know they can play with your emotions, test your boundaries, and you'll always bend. And here's the ugly truth. People do not love what they do not respect. If you want real love, it starts with respect. And respect starts with standards. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. You need to ask yourself hard questions. When they come back, are they adding to your life or are they draining it? Are they bringing consistency or are they breadcrumbing you with half effort? Are they proving that they've grown or are they simply looking for comfort again? If the answers aren't clear, then you already know their return is not about love, it's about them. And you need to decide if you're willing to trade your self-respect for temporary attention. Now let me give you another metaphor. Imagine a man who owns a mansion. One day he invites someone in, shows them the beauty of the place, offers them comfort. But instead of appreciating it, they spit on the floor, mock the walls, and leave. Months later they knock again, smiling as if nothing happened. Should that man throw open the doors, or should he say, "No, you had your chance. This home is sacred. If you want entry, you must prove you respect it." That's your life. That's your heart. That's your value. Stop letting people in just because they show up. Start demanding they prove they deserve to stay. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Who do you want to be? A man who bends to the whims of others, or a man who sets the terms of his own life? If you want to be respected, then act like a man who requires respect. If you want to be valued, then stop giving discounts on your worth. Because here's the raw truth. The man who allows people to leave and return without boundaries will always be treated as an option. But the man who sets standards becomes the man they fear losing. Here's the part that may sting, but you need to hear it. Not everyone who comes back deserves another chance. If they left without good reason, if they dismissed you when you were offering them your best, if they didn't value you when you were right in front of them, then their return is not proof of your worth. It's proof of their inconsistency. And your response in that moment defines everything. Do you repeat the cycle, or do you rise above it? Let me tell you, the strongest men aren't the ones who celebrate being taken back. They're the ones who know they don't need to be. They're the ones who see the return not as a prize, but as a test. They ask, does this person align with the life I'm building? Do they respect me enough to earn a place again? If the answer is no, they walk away without hesitation. And that, my friends, is true strength. Because here's the paradox. When you stop celebrating their comeback, that's when they finally respect you. When you stop seeing their presence as the victory, that's when you win. When you stop handing yourself over so easily, that's when they realize what they lost. And that shift, that discipline, is what changes the entire game. So here's your final affirmation, and I want you to write it in the comments so it becomes real. My standards are the prize, not their attention, not their return, not their approval, your standards. That's what defines your value. That's what earns respect. That's what builds the kind of life where people can't walk in and out as they please. And now, my friends, if this message opened your eyes, do me a favor. Press that like button, hit subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because too many men out there are still confusing someone's return for proof of love, and it's keeping them trapped in cycles of pain. But not you, not anymore. You've heard the truth. You've felt the fire, and now it's time to rise. Your standards are the prize. Never forget it.